Heather from Here Booktubes, and today is Grumpy and Sunshine romance recommendations. I think we all like this trope, to be perfectly honest. There's just something about the character who's just grumpy, doesn't like everybody, doesn't easily smile, doesn't easily laugh, is missing out on some aspects of life. And the person who just brings warmth and sunshine and happiness and light into their life. I love it. We all love it. It's a beautiful thing when it is done so well. It's so good and satisfying in your books. And yeah, I think we all love to see somebody who is missing out on life be brought literal sunshine by their love interest. My first one is Twisted Love by Huang. This is a book that the third act breakup really bugged me and annoyed me so much because it was long. They were separated for a long time, and that just irritates me so much more than if it's like a week or a day. If they're separated for a long time, I just really have trouble with that. But literally everything else in this book I loved. I loved so much that it's still a book that I'm willing to give as a recommendation, even though the breakup really annoyed me and honestly took off a whole star for me because I just felt like it didn't make sense. I felt like it was too long, all the things. But the rest of the book was so great that it's still a good book. So he is her brother's best friend. He is so grumpy. In fact, she and her friends have like a bet going on whether or not she can get him to react with different emotions, and it's quite funny. But he is rich and tall and dark and grumpy and treats her like his best friend's annoying little sister. She's definitely not pining for him. She has a little bit of a crush on him, but is not like acting on it in any way. But he actually is very attracted to her and is just, you know, bound and determined to shut that down. There's a lot of trauma in this. So, but in like a trauma, it wasn't hard to read about, and I feel like it's unlikely to be your personal trauma. So this is like a dark light book. So her brother, his best friend, is leaving for a year, and her mother is dead. Her father's not really involved in her life, and she's very attractive. She's in college town, all the things, and her brother's just worried about her. So he asked his best friend to watch out for her while he's gone, and his best friend is like, okay, well, only way to do that is move in next door to her. And he does, and there's a lot of first proximity, and it takes a while for him to melt, and their dynamic was greatness. It was so good. But of course he has secrets, and when the secrets come out, not only is she destroyed by it, but he pushes her away, and that was really what just got on my nerve. But their dynamic and the characters in the book, just beautiful. The grumpy sunshine dynamic, perfection. She pulled it off incredibly well. Then I had the Brown Sisters series by Talia, Hibbert. The whole series is basically Grumpy Sunshine. The first one, they're actually both like so nice to everybody else, but not each other. I would say that the hero is more the sunshine than the heroine. Chloe Brown, she has fibromyalgia and is in pain a lot, and I don't know about you, but I am so impressed at anybody who has chronic pain, who manages to be a decent human being to anybody else, because being in pain constantly just wears on you. It makes it difficult to be nice to anybody because you're in pain all the time. So I would say that the hero is more the sunshine, but they're both so nice to everyone and so mean to each other, and everybody likes them and like cannot understand why they don't like each other. And it's so cute. It's so cute. He's the super for her new apartment building, and she is bound and determined not to let him do anything for her, and they're just really cute. The second one is Dani Brown, and she's very much the prickly heroine. She's a witch, she's bisexual, she's a professor, she's closed off to love and feelings and emotions. Zaf is the hero, and he is into romances and has had a thing for Dani Brown for forever, and they do a fake dating situation. And the third one I haven't read yet, but I know that he is a grump and she is just sunshine, and they're both autistic, and she is chaos and brings down his carefully structured life. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it. So I really think that each book has a different grumpy sunshine dynamic, but the whole series, I think, would fit the bill. Then I have Counterfeit Love by Jessica Gadziala. We have a prickly heroine who is a survivor of sexual trafficking, and I feel like that is handled very respectfully. And she is literally taking down the clients who are buying girls and young boys. She's taking down clients because she feels that while she knows other people who are taking down the actual traffickers, another will just take their place. And so she is determined to take out the people who are the clients. She's very type A, has all of her ducks in a row, knows all the things that can go wrong, plans for all of it, but she needs a counterfeiter, so she goes and she blackmails this counterfeiter into helping her, and he's like, you didn't have to blackmail me, you could have just asked, like, you have a good cause, I would have helped you. And he is so sunshiny, and she is so prickly, and I loved him so much because whatever she needed, it was like he knew. If she needed a joke, he knew. If she needed him to be quiet and be serious, he knew. And he just gave her everything that she needed, and it was so beautiful. And this is literally just a cinnamon roll hero who will help you bury the bodies, and what more do you want? That's just beautiful. It's so great. I loved them. I loved their dynamic so much. So much. And I have Let Me Free You, which is McClain Brothers #4 by Alexandria House. I do think that this book packs a little bit more of a punch if you have read the first 3 books, because you get to see the hero's struggles through this book. So he is a recovering alcoholic and has just messed up a bunch of times. You get to see kind of the way that his family views him in the first 3 books. They definitely kind of view him as the problem child and as maybe not trustworthy because of his addictions, while also still loving him, which I thought was an interesting balance that she was able to create in the characters. But in this 4th book, I honestly wasn't that excited about reading it because I didn't want to read about him struggling so much, but that really wasn't what we got. We get him on the very first page, just kind of, okay, this is the beginning of you having your act together. This girl needs you. You have a purpose, a spiritual purpose, and I believe in you. It was very interesting because they had a spiritual soulmate connection. There was a lot of things going on with that, but she is going to be sent back to her parents' home country, even though she's literally never been there. She's lived in America her whole life, but found out that she wasn't legal. And so she needs a marriage in order to stay in the country. And his brothers are like, hey, I'm gonna need you to marry her so our wives aren't upset because she's their friend and they're sad that she's leaving. And he's just like, that is so messed up. But when he talks to her, he's just like, no, this is meant to be. And that connection was so interesting. But he kind of struggles with depression and that alcohol. But I thought it was so interesting. There's this one specific line in the book. Because they are Black and it's a Black love book, he is kind of a little bit of a scholar, and he often is reading about white supremacy and history and the history of Black culture in America and, you know, heavy things. And it's talked about how he has to have fun too. You can't just be in that weight all the time and be okay. And she recognizes that and kind of draws him out, even though what he's reading about and doing is important. And he shouldn't just give it up altogether. He needs to balance it with lighter things to be okay. And I thought that was a very interesting thing in the book. But honestly, they both have mental struggles, mental health struggles kind of in the book. Not in a super heavy way. There is some kind of suicide ideation, but the book isn't heavy. It's not a heavy book. And I thought that the balance was really done well. You have this go-lucky girl who's really struggling, and this more serious guy who is also bringing light into her life. And so it's like when one is up, the other is down, and they're able to balance each other out and keep each other healthy. And I just really, really enjoyed it and felt like she did a good job of convincing you of their spiritual connection, of their soul deep connection, of the reasons why, even though they barely knew each other, they truly didn't need time in order to know that they were where they should be, how they were able to help each other and be the light in each other's lives. And it was just really, really beautiful, honestly. And then lastly, I have Devil's Bride, which is Cynster #1 by Stephanie Lawrence. This is a historical romance, which I rarely recommend because I have not been in the mood for historicals for like 2 years now. But I just remember really enjoying this one so much. He is the devil and, you know, has a reputation. She is, I think, a governess or something, but they are caught in a cottage in a downpour. This is the first time that they've met each other, and there's a murder mystery happening with his cousin whom, like, she found and he found, and that's why they're forced together. And he's like, well, we've been compromised, we're gonna get married. And she's like, no, we're not. No, we're not. I'm not marrying you just because of this situation. That's ridiculous. And he's just like so taken with her and like obsessed with her and just finds everything about her charming. And she's sunshine and he's a grump, but he's very much into her. And she's just like, no, I'm gonna keep on moving with my life, thank you. And it's so cute and fun. The murder mystery was interesting. I loved his dynamic. I loved his thoughts about her. And even though he was grumpy and dark, he also really had a sense of humor that was shown throughout the book and was witty and sarcastic. And I just really, really enjoyed their dynamic, so much so that I actually might pick up more in the series at some point, just because it was delightful. It was such a delight. And what more do you need? What more do you need? You don't. When the grumpy one has a wicked sense of humor, oh, it's so good. It's so good. And yeah, I loved it. There you go. There's some Grumpy Sunshine books. I've read so many and oftentimes can't remember that that's the trope that they were. But these are ones that I think will really satisfy you if that is the specific dynamic that you are reaching for right now. I think that these will deliver. So thank you so much for watching. If you have a favorite Grumpy Sunshine, do leave the recommendation in the comments because it's a universal favorite. So any more recommendations are always welcome. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.